Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Signals Notebook Connect community series in 2024. My name is Diana Tran. I am the Senior Product Marketing Specialist here at Revity Signals and will be your moderator for this session. This ongoing Signals Notebook community series will be an opportunity for you to learn about newly added Signals Notebook functionalities and how users are using Signals Notebook to improve productivity and data transparency through enhanced collaboration. As always, we want to hear from you. If you have any suggestions on topics for our upcoming Connects, feel free to reach out to me directly. I will input my email in the open chat on your right-hand side. This Connect will focus on our 2024 year of advancements and looking ahead. Just to let you know, all sessions are recorded and available for streaming at revitysignals.com/signalsnotebookconnect. A couple of quick housekeeping reminders before we start. We will have ample time at the end for questions, so please submit your questions through the question box located on the right-hand side of your screen. Stay tuned for the 2025 dates for Signals Notebook Connect, which will be announced on our Connect website. Please remember to re-register to receive the new dates for next year. We look forward to having you join us in 2025. Jumping right into today's agenda, it includes a discussion on the key features of 2024, an overview of Signals Notebook and its future, followed by a live Q&A session. If you're interested in our recent inventory features, we hosted a Connect session on October 2nd titled Revolutionizing Inventory Management, Signals Notebook and Success Stories at EMD Electronics, where it covers all of our 2024 enhancements for inventory. The recording again is available on our Connect site, and the link will be provided via the chat on the right-hand side. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers for today, Anne Ballard and Marie Jue. Anne Ballard is our Signals Notebook product manager of customer success at Revity Signals. She spearheaded the continuous movement for Signals Notebook, focusing on customer requested enhancements to core functionality. Prior to her work at Revity Signals, she worked building software solutions to connect laboratories with their clinical clients. She has a background in molecular biology and genetics and earned a master's in biology from American University. Marie, our field application center at Revity Signals, is a chemical engineer that specializes in formulation chemistry. She worked in R&D formulation laboratories, first at Axalta Coating Systems, where she learned the basics of formulation chemistry in industrial coating R&D team. She then expanded her knowledge joining Sharon Williams' R&D team, and today Marie uses her background to easily understand formulators' needs and promote Signals Notebook capabilities in order to facilitate scientists' daily life. I'll now hand it over the mic to Anne Ballard to kick off our first agenda item, key features of 2024.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Diana. So as she said, my name is Anne Ballard. I am a Signals Notebook product manager with a focus on customer success and our continuous enhancement program. We've had a ton of wonderful features that came out in 2024. This is just a little slice of them. I know that some of you will likely already be familiar with a few of these, but hopefully you'll kind of notice something that you hadn't seen before and maybe can check out in your own implementation. So first things first, we have a big push for our Helm module. One of the things that was recently released is the Helm monomer curation app. So this is actually available in beta, and it's a brand new monomer curation tool where you can draw monomers using the ChemDraw editor. You can define all of those fields. You can draw or edit those capping groups for the attachment points. And there's a lot of really great duplicate resolution options. If you haven't checked it out, I would encourage you to do so. Helm is absolutely fascinating, and we've been continuously improving it over the course of this year. So for example, there's been some monomer label expansion. As a molecular biologist, I absolutely love those FASTA headers for our DNA RNA annotation. And we've improved a lot of the click selection behavior and those keyboard navigation tools just to make that the sequence available, and you can use the arrow keys just to make it a little easier to use, because navigating through it can be kind of a pain in the butt if you're really unfamiliar. So let's pass it over to Marie so she can show us this really awesome tool.
The Helm editor is now available in Signals Notebook and can be accessed through ChemDraw entities in an experiment. The Helm editor opens a tab on the left side of the drawing interface, providing access to various types of monomers and libraries. You also can see different color indicators and shapes have been created according to the polymer type and different monomers, aiding user easily visualize the entity structure. Users who frequently work with the same monomers can save them as favorites via the Add Favorites button. This feature allows users to save time by eliminating the need to search for monomers, as they will be displayed on the Favorites tab, organized by monomer type. So now let's begin by creating a peptide. The preview displays the structure corresponding to the different monomers. I simply select the ones I want to add, and the structure is built in ChemDraw. A library for DNA, RNA is also available, and it works exactly the same way. Predefined libraries are provided. You also can create your custom libraries, and they are created using our Helm monomer creation app. And in this app, you can see monomers pair libraries, and you can create them individually or in bulk. The two options are now available. Returning to the Helm editor, long sequences can take some time to draw, so they can be pasted into the text tab. By selecting the corresponding sequence, it will be drawn automatically. And if you copy and paste the peptide, FASTA DNA, or RNA sequence with header information into ChemDraw, either directly or via the text tool of the Helm editor, the header will appear as an annotation to your sequence, as you can see here. The bin format is also supported as well. If you use the copy as option on a selected drawn peptide sequence, you will be able to generate a bin string. Several hotkeys are now supported in the Helm editor. You can navigate through the structure using keyboard arrow keys. The addition of a single monomer from the selected monomer library using a single letter symbol can be inserted by typing the corresponding letter on your keyboard. Structure editing is made easy, allowing a monomer to be replaced with a single click and selecting the new monomer from the library or using hotkeys. And additionally, a monomer can be added by selecting the bond where it is to be inserted, either by clicking on the bond or navigating through the structure with hotkeys. And the distinction between addition and replacement is visible on the Helm editor tab at the bottom, where you can see insert or replace depending on the cursor's position. So today you've seen the most important features in our Helm editor. So we have seen the different predefined monomer libraries with colors and shapes to easily make the distinction between the different monomer types. You also can create your own libraries, and the structure creation is made easy via our hotkeys or text elements, and you can easily navigate through the structure and make some changes if you need.
All righty, thank you, Marie. Moving on, so we've also been making a lot of updates that will allow those collaborative workflows to be easier. Some of the big ones that we've been working on are task updates. So we did a big push in tasks earlier in 2023, and we've continued that in 2024. So what we've allowed for is improved assigning and improved notifications for tasks. We've also allowed for the creation of tasks in multiple places. So for example, tasks can be created from the materials table. We've improved the execution, so that way you can more easily create an experiment from a task. And you can actually assign tasks to groups, which is something that has been regularly requested on the ideas portal. This will make those collaborative workflows so much easier when you're sharing work with your colleagues. We've also been making some updates to materials. And as someone with a background in bio who had to create a bunch of cell lines, this was really exciting for me. So we've had the addition of parent and child materials that can be of the same material type. So you can, if you're generating a cell line, for example, create multiple replicates of a child material very easily under that parent material. So let's see Marie show us how to do both of those things.
Since 2023, child materials can be created from the materials table, so you already know this functionality. Now users can create a new data table or add the child material to the existing one. Multi-child materials up to 100 can be created at the same time, and the ability to copy parent data has been added, so it's new as well. So parent metadata come onto the child material does not need to be re-entered. This reduces the risk of errors and saves a lot of time. And then now I fill the properties I want to copy from the parent material. This one and one last one. Here. And here is my new transfected cell line. I can add new properties like the plasmid insert. So I select this one. There is some mandatory fields before I register it to my material library. And once everything is filled, I can go to option and register this material. So the system checks duplicates and will create a new material if there is no duplicate. And then if I click, I can access my material information. Tasks are commonly created from the samples table. It is now possible to create a task from a materials table. We will create a new one from the transfected cell lines table, but it applies to all material type. A task template is selected, and analysts can now be assigned at the task creation, whereas previously this was only possible from the task management page. And this feature is still in beta, but task creators now have the ability to assign tasks to a group of users. If a user is assigned to a task at its creation, the status is automatically set to submitted instead of new when the task is not assigned. And you can see the new colors displayed to track task status. Tasks can also be assigned to a user or a group of users from the tasks table after its creation. And we also can change the task assignment. The assignment of a task to users from the experiment reduces the number of clicks when you already know to whom the task should be assigned and then save a lot of time. You also can create an experiment from the task table. And last but not least, notifications around tasks, events. So in user settings and notifications, there is now a page dedicated to tasks. And users can define if they want to be notified in the app or by email when a task is completed or assigned to the user.
Thank you, Marie. An additional update to the materials library is we have a new material library type that will be coming off of beta in January. This is the normalized compounds library type. What this allows for is an out-of-the-box salt stripper from our CDWS web service, where admins can load a list of smiles for their salt list in the SN-config and have any registered compounds sent to that salt stripper stripped to generate a normalized or neutralized structure that'll be stored at the asset level. What this allows the user to do is to store multiple different salt types under the same normalized asset. So what does that look like? So what we could have is we have multiple different salt types that can be stored under the asset. We do duplicate checking on this normalized asset. So if you have an existing asset that has, say, a sodium salt, we will have that normalized structure at the asset level and the sodium salt structure stored at the batch level. We have uniqueness checking on both the asset and the batch levels. So for example, if I'm going to register an additional sodium salt, I would find my asset that exists, a sodium salt that exists, and a new property type indicating batch type. So if I registered 2 sodium salts, they would both be batch type A. And then if I went back in and registered, say, a potassium salt, that would be batch type B. This is going to allow for a little more flexibility in our materials library type. This does not replace the existing compound library. It is merely an additional option for users who want to try storing their data in this way. Another big feature that has been added this year and is continuously being expanded is the variations tables. What's pretty cool about this is it's allowing for a lot of those variations that everyone keeps asking about. So you can tab through summary views. It'll show work to progress the same property across multiple rows for the next variant. Final variants can go all the way back to the same property for the next row, from the next row in the first variant, and in the final row and the final variant, you can go all the way back to the first one. You have the ability to shift tab to reverse directions. It's honestly quite complicated, but an incredibly cool feature. And it also includes the linking to ADT columns, which is available to all systems and supported in our public API. It includes inventory decrements, which are fully operational. There's aggregate calculations in these variations tables, so you have those sum numeric columns for variants and components, and there's even calculations that have been added in headers for both for the ADTs. Let's have a look at how that's going to be in the actual product.
Variations tables are template-based. This means that the table structure is defined at the admin level and end user selects a template from the list. Different templates can be created depending on the workflow, the technology, or the team's need. This applies to any formulation use case where the comparison of up to 20 slightly varying mixtures or formulations is needed. For example, when varying an ingredient amount or comparing the influence of different ingredients with the same rule on the test results. Variations tables are divided into 4 sections. The first tab corresponds to the components. This is the first step. Users list all of the components or ingredients they will use in their formulations. When searching for a new component, users get access to the material library and can select a material or its container to add to the list. The system automatically imports material metadata stored in the material library. Users can use a search function, but they could also scan the container barcode or QR code generated in their inventory. In this example, materials stored in the Signals Notebook material library are referred to, but it can apply to external databases as well. As mentioned, table templates are defined by admins, so their structure can be modified to best suit the use case. Once the components are listed, users will prepare their different formulations. They then open the variant section. In this section, one table corresponds to one formulation, and the headers contain sample-related information like the formulator and preparation date. Some ingredient properties listed in the previous tab are still visible. New columns correspond to formulation preparation or composition. In this example, the ratio of each ingredient in the formula and the sample mass to be obtained are defined by the user. The system automatically calculates the mass of each ingredient to be weighted. Once in the lab, users register the mass actually rated, and the system recalculates the real ratio of each ingredient. This allows for distinguishing between the plan and actual amounts. In this example, process parameters such as pH, agitation speed, and the date and time of the agitation of the action can be recorded. The new calculation capabilities implemented this year allow equations to include dates, so the system can now provide the step duration between each ingredient addition. Up to 20 variations can be created. starting from a blank table or by copying an existing one. Once the formation is complete, the different formulas are compared via the horizontal summary. It shows ingredients as well as sample information. So on the left, ingredient metadata is still displayed. This is the same information as in the previous tab. And in the center of the page, Signals Notebook shows the different sample compositions. The view can be changed from theoretical to real percentage mass or process parameters, allowing users to display the most relevant information in this table. This helps scientists compare composition, process parameter in a very easy way. Data in these columns can be edited. So you can change a value in the summary view and it will automatically update the value in variance table. So as a scientist, you can work from the summary view or from the variance tab, and then data automatically updates in the other views. The vertical summary is a sort of pivoted view where samples are represented in rows and ingredients in columns. If we go back to the Components tab, the preparation of scientist assay is made easy with the sum of the ingredient mass required displayed in the Components section. And once the work is finished, you can now automatically update container amounts in the inventory via the inventory decrements column still in the component section. So the ability to update container amounts has been implemented this year and is available available in variations tables, materials table, and chemical drawing. So it's not dedicated to variations table only.
All right, thank you, Marie. We've also been coming out with more search improvements. Now, I know search tends to be a hot button issue for a lot of our customers. I've seen your ideas in the portal, but we are always endeavoring to improve it and make it easier and more simple to use. So in addition to a bunch of new filters that have been added this year, we also came out with a brand new grid view that's available in Signals Notebook smart folders, specifically the materials, samples, experiments, parallel experiments, and inventory containers. This view is amazing. It includes column sorting, property pickers, and one of the most requested items in the ideas portal, there's also the ability to export that wonderful table you just built in your grid view to CSV for any further work that you want done. So what you can do is very easily configure all of the items you'd like in this grid view or report, enter the selection mode, and you can export all of what's returned very simply to CSV. So let's take a look at that in the actual product. All right, so here I am just in our standard search. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into one of our smart folders. Materials is very straightforward. We're in the grid view. As you can see here, we have the ability to select properties that you want to have viewable in the grid view. And you can actually very simply sort all of your returned items based off of any of these columns. What's cool is we've kind of stuck the ID and the preview there so you can scroll through your view without necessarily losing that ID, which is super important for finding things or entering what you're trying to find. If you enter the selection mode, you can go through and select specific items. From there, you can run external actions on them, view those specific selected items, or export them. So for materials, we actually got a lot more export options, but we've added that CSV function, which is so frequently requested and is currently available in materials, to all these other smart folder grid views. So again, what I'm going in is I'm picking the items that I want in my actual CSV report. So I want various items here. And you can see, looking at it, if I can get it to scroll over, we have those brand new columns available. So what I'm going to do this time is when we enter our selection mode, we're going to just go ahead and run this export on everything that's returned. So that is 901 experiments. You'll notice it's a much higher limit than that show more item you always have at the bottom. You see a little progress bar down there that shows your export, and then once it's done, you can very easily open that CSV. This is one of the most requested items on the ideas portal, and I'm really excited to have it in the product this year. And there we go. Another big change that we've been making is we've been trying to improve the flexibility for workflows. So those signing workflows available for those large experiment type objects. So that's your experiments, your admin defined objects, your parallel experiments. We added a couple of options and we added some privileges to make it a lot easier to use them. So this particular idea here, this is an add reviewer and keep open workflow option, is great if you have junior scientists who need to have their work signed off on at multiple points. This allows for a user, say, I'm a junior scientist and I am working on my experiment. I want my PI to sign off on my work. So I can add that person and keep my experiment open so I can continue working while they review what I am doing. Reviewers receive a notification. They have the option of accepting or rejecting the experiment, and the sign-off is included in the audit log. This doesn't stop me as a user from also having the additional in-game workflows. So for example, if we have this I'll review and keep open, I can still send it for review and assign and close workflow. We also added some workflow privileges that allow you to require specific user groups or user roles to follow specific workflows for an entity type. Again, we have this option of saying these users have to have witnesses versus these users which can just sign and close. It adds that level of flexibility that is going to make it much easier for our users to actually customize those workflows and kind of keep everything moving along. We have also had absolutely a banner year for our integrations and APIs. So we brought on Colin Fife, who is a PM, working with our integrations and APIs specifically. And one of the biggest things he did was this first iteration of a developer guide, which has been released. So this is actually a link. If you get the actual presentation, you can click on it. But there's a clear developer guide, which will help all of our developer users write those external actions and use those external APIs that really make Signals Notebooks such a wonderful customizable software. So what we have next up is we're including some search best practices and examples and some SDF APIs. Even further on the horizon, we've got some expanded tools and guidance for developers. So there's going to be developer-centric APIs to simplify their integrations. We're going to continue this push for documentation to have some further documentation on dedicated to the integration examples and guides. So one of the things that we've gotten feedback-wise from a lot of our customers is the wish for better examples, and we've heard you, and that's something we're looking into. And we're also kind of adding some potential for our AI-generated SDKs. As a little rundown of things that have recently been released in our integrations and API world and what we have coming. So recently, we've allowed for external actions by template for templated entities. We've expanded notifications for task status changes and material edits. So that's that external notification system. We've added some APIs for user management, some SDF APIs that focus on the information design, bulk entity content export APIs, and of course, parallel experiment enumerator APIs. Oof, tried saying that 5 times fast. What we have coming is we're obviously going to continue expanding those SDF APIs with a focus on data extraction, and also to bring in our brand new product Synergy. We're adding some Synergy APIs and points of integration for notifications and actions, which is going to be really big because Synergy's whole thing is that passing of work back and forth. We're also going to be expanding notifications for container check-in, check-out. So that's one of those inventory features that is super popular. And we're going to, of course, continue to support every new feature that we release. So all of this stuff comes with APIs, and honestly, it's a continuous process. So that was our year in review. Let's look at what's coming. This is going to be a little bit big picture, but I have a couple of items that I personally am super excited about, so I will highlight those. Big picture wise, we are looking at really expanding our structured data capture in Signals Notebook. So those are that's hierarchical data, those cross-table connections, similar to how you had the variations tables with the different sections talking to each other. We're really looking to improve that structured data capture. We're also going to be doing a big push into biologics. There's going to be new functionality released for molecular biology design. And we're also kind of focusing on those big. We are very good with small chemistry. We're looking at expanding our capabilities in the larger chemistry. So your macromolecule, complementary strand handling, all of that cool stuff that we really want to push for. Additionally, we're going to be looking at improving analytics within Signals Notebook. And that's something that we're going to be kind of expanding on. And of course, one of the big pushes that crosses into our SRS, or the Signals Research Suite, beyond just Signals Notebook, into Vitro, Vivo, and Inventa, is the assay repository. So that is kind of a central assay library with ontology control, AI-ready data, and it's something we are incredibly excited about, and it's a big push for us in 2025. You'll notice in there we also have AI that's been sprinkled throughout. One of the big pushes that I personally am working on is we are working on bringing AI into Signals Notebook. So what is that going to look like? We're looking at some text recognition in images, which is in progress now. We're looking at the beginnings of a semantic search option. So for all of you who have looked at the ideas portal and voted on contains, semantic search may just be for you. Let's take a look at that now, because the coolest thing about it is also language recognition for more than just English. We have a global user base, and now you would, with the semantic search, which is coming in 2025, you would be able to do searches very simply in your native language. So let's take a look at this here. So we have search. What will happen soon is we'll have a new button called semantic search, right? So we've included a bunch of text items here. I'm going to search solar system planets, and you can see we have two things that don't include those specific words, but are related. Similarly, let's look at vaccine development. So this is going to actually pull something that would be directly related to the search term, but does not include those specific words. This allows for much smarter browsing. And now looking at the actual language software aspect, you can now search in German. We've also got, I believe this one's, yeah, we have Chinese, and I think Japanese is also included in the model, and that allows for searching in multiple languages. I'm personally super excited about this one, and I can't wait to show it to you in the actual product when we actually have it done, as opposed to just a pilot.